For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new model and collection from Outwell. So with me here today I've got the Sunhill in their new deluxe collection. So the whole idea of the kind of deluxe collection is the fact that it's offering really kind of the Outwell quality but a more affordable price point, making it a bit more open to the mass market, and they're not really kind of compromising on their core features or actually the workmanship or the craftsmanship or anything to do with that. It's more about just making it a bit more affordable, with a few kind of differences in comparison to their sort of mainline range, if we call it that. The Sunhill actually is one of 3 models in the deluxe collection, available in 2 sizes. So with me here today I've got the 3-person version, but they also do a 5-person version as well. Now in terms of the features, exactly the same for each model. The only difference is really the fact that it's the width that changes and a little bit the length. So one thing to bear in mind is this model here, which is sort of the 3, is about 2.5 meters in the width. When you jump up to the 5, it jumps up to about 3 meters in width. So personally, I would see this being more of, say, like a comfy 2 sort of couples tent, and the 5 being a very comfy 3, or more probably on the nose 4. And we'll kind of go through all the features throughout this little video. So first point, we'll start with the specification of the product. So we've got here a really nice embossed fabric. It's part of their Select 4000mm. So for kind of a entry price point level tent, a 4000mm high static head, it's still very waterproof. It's you've got inflatable structure, so it's very quick and easy to pitch. Something like this, we've done our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video you can check out on our YouTube channel. Probably the best part of sort of around 10 minutes, depending on the size and obviously how quick you are, of course. Being myself doing it day in, day out, it comes sort of second nature to it. So a little bit of a hybrid system where we've got sort of the main body is inflatable. So you've got 3 main tubes, nice and easily, and then a sort of a fiberglass sort of pole at the front here, again just to kind of give you keep the cost more affordable, but also one fiberglass pole is not much, in terms of sort of hassle to pitch. Every single beam is inflated individually and located down the bottom here. You've got a really nice kind of rigid air system, so it gives good sort of height, a bit of a curvature as well. There's a good diameter as well. The valve easily accessible there, same kind of thing you find with dinghy valves. The joys in that in particular is the fact that it's very easy to get the air in and out, and being mounted on the outside of the tent is easy accessible to get there as well. What you probably do is sort of pitch the main body first, so the main 4 corners of the tent, pump it up and insert the pole and go from there. So as you can see again from our pitching video. Again, there's the unique features that you see with Outwell, and even though there's, like I said, the probably one main compromise that they've made to get the price point down is the sort of front J door, which again is a really good door, and actually when you take it into consideration with other brands in this kind of area, actually from a specification probably sits a little bit higher. So one thing that would be kind of one of the things that Outwell have done, still kind of in a way sits above probably its competitors in the marketplace. We've got lovely big windows as well, and one thing you do see which is quite nice is this kind of 2-tone panelling. Now by having this, obviously it's still quite detailed, and what you find as well is from a production point of things, it does cost more to do, which again gives that sort of appearance of a slightly higher spec product. Completely sewn in ground sheet as well, so you've got sort of a bug-free barrier from the critters, and it's kind of, I'll call it more as 2-zone tent, but sort of half free. So you've got your sleeping area, your main living area, and then this sort of canopy area at the front here as well. So it's the ideal place for, if it's raining, a bit of coverage. It also means the rain's not driving directly into kind of the front door, but you can also set a little cooker up here and still be sheltered to the best part of it as well. Nice visible highline guy ropes located around the tent as well, so you get obviously good visibility to stop you tripping over it. You've also this little canopy here, if you want to open up a little bit more, you can unpeg that, and it does actually toggle back if you wanted more of just a sharp end. But for me, structurally, I would probably go for that if I was yourself. You've still got features as curved poles on the front part here, again to help give you height, but also the width as well, and clips on really nice and easily. And you've got then special kind of storm system where essentially it's a really clever way where it velcros around the pole and then velcros through, so that way when you're pulling or guide against it, you're not just pulling the fabric, you're pulling the pole and the fabric together. So it's something they've used in kind of their high-end tents for probably best over a part of 10 years now, longer than thinking about it, and something even on kind of their starting point range in sort of good, better, best, you still have that feature built into it as well. Other things to sort of mention are when we, in fact, let's bring the camera around, have a little bit more look inside the front of the tent and talk through a load more features that this has to offer. So now we're kind of facing in the middle of the Sunhill, you can kind of appreciate kind of the main sections you've got in the tent itself. Now, like we said, we're really kind of looking at sort of two semi sort of free zones. So your sleeping area at the back, your main living area, and then obviously this kind of open canopy sort of shelter from the front. We did previously mention the fact that kind of one of the things that's different to this in comparison probably to the Outwells that sit above it is mainly kind of the J door. So when we mean J door, it means it's like a J kind of shape that goes up, around and top to this point here. So it's sort of fixed on this corner. But even that being maybe a small compromise, you still got the proper seal of a zip located down the bottom. So again, a lot of brands don't actually do this. It will just be zipped around the top, but not down the bottom. It will just toggle up. Whereas for this one, actually, what you find is that not only does it toggle up, and it also zips as well. So you've got the ultimate seal against the actual weather, bugs, and that sort of critters coming in. Obviously, the ability of the drop-down door gives you that flat entrance in and out. So if you've got pushchairs, wheelchairs, or even, say, small little kids, you haven't got that sort of trip hazard when you come in and out of tent. And that's one thing I do really like about Outwell in general, is that it's quite thorough in the way they do things. We've got PVC windows at the front panel here as well, so you can also get a bit of light directly into the tent. We've also then got toggle-up curtains located in here. Again, for the price point, I think is quite adequate. You don't really see anything around this sort of ballpark which has anything more than that, and it does the job quite happily. There is a halfway point, so you can actually get sort of a little bit of coverage and privacy, but still allow a little bit of lighting at the top. The front door also features a full mesh door as well, so if you wanted that kind of airflow into the tent, that's quite crucial. So you can still have your bug-free barrier, and because you've got the protection of the canopy at the front, even if it's kind of raining a little bit, get my zips modelled up, and more importantly there, that then zips the ground sheet there as well. So like I said, it is a proper bug-free barrier. Really quite small, fine mesh as well, so it doesn't really affect your visibility, but with even the rain coming in, you still have that. Certainly with the UK weather, it's very unpredictable. It's not a bad thing to have. Other things I do quite like in this particular tent is the feature of Outwell's hook track system. So the hook track system basically is a sort of beading that's located around sort of one of the main tubes in this section, in the main living area. It allows you then to have accessories hanging down, have a lantern hanging through it, and when I bring the camera in a bit later in the video, we can see their kind of system they've put in place here, which allows you to obviously have lights and lanterns like this, and you can track it across and move it. So it's really quite smart in that thing. And for, again, what we would classify really as kind of a starting point with Outwell in a collection, again, it's a nice feature you wouldn't really see in comparable models. Other things to sort of talk about is we've got some really nice dark sort of bedrooms in here as well. It's not probably the darkest on the market, but again, I think it's darker than probably most. With the inner bedroom itself, with the 3 persons we see here, you actually sleep sort of lengthways this way, or widthways I should say, whereas when you go to the 5, you change the dynamic and you sleep sort of from front to back. And when you've got the 5 model, you have a divider in place as well. And it splits it up into a 120 and 160, whereas this is just purely open. It's not quite deep enough. It's about 205 deep in the living area on the 3 person, which again, for me, I see purely more for couple based. So one thing you would have to sort of jump over another one person to get out. You can't, it's tight, you can't quite fit it that way, but certainly for a more comfortable scenario, definitely better sleeping that orientation is the way to go. Other features you find on this tent as well is little mesh pockets located down here. That allows you obviously to declutter the main part of the tent. It's small, it's cozy, so any sort of additional storage you can put into tent is a big benefit. And you've got it on both sides of the inner bedroom as well. You've also got a cable entry point down the bottom here as well, so you can actually have sort of power inside the actual inner bedroom, so you can charge your phones and that sort of stuff without having to leave the door open itself. And also down on this side here is a cable entry point, so again you can have mains coming from the outside into the main part of the tent. Again, it still keeps that whole kind of sealed approach. This little details on the Velcro tabs. located beneath the window allow obviously the cable to be run down and then to this beam where you have the main kind of lights located, or use their clever little system. And what they've done in this tent actually, which again we'll show you in a bit, is utilise one of the toggle up parts to allow that system, so that's quite a clever little design. Other things to talk about really is also some very Outwell-esque features with their sort of quick and quiet door. So this is the ability of coming into the sleeping area without having to open zips. So if your partner's sleeping or the kids are sleeping, you should be able to come in and out of the tent without having to worry about that noise. So there's a secondary zip located down here, and what you do is with the magnets, it kind of creates a little seal. So just by opening that up, basically what you can do is come in and go, and it shuts behind you. So it's a much easier way, and again, for something kind of a baseline with Outwell, to have that sort of feature again is something you don't find anywhere elsewhere. So helps all about to kind of create that sort of good value point. Also the fact that mesh is located in the main body, in the main bedroom inner, and expecting to have a mesh point that big with the ability of zips to zip it up and close it off, again is a point of difference in comparison to what you find elsewhere. But I'll tell you what, let me roll this door back, we'll bring the cameras in and we can get close with a few more features inside the tent. So, other things to mention is you actually can buy additional, if you want to make it bigger, they do have an option of kind of a canopy tarp that goes on the front of it, and to give you an idea, that looks something like this. So there is a little bit of ability to actually extend it a little bit, okay? Gives you a bit more shelter away from things if the canopy you see here isn't quite enough. A manual pump comes as standard with the actual tent as well, so it gives you, the ease of pitching it. And we can see sort of from the outside there, they're nice and simple, and these little attachment points here of the additional canopy or the additional tarp that you want to go for. As we kind of come into the tent, like I said, we've got that sort of flat entrance into the main body of it, and then we're into the tent itself. Like I said, the free is definitely quite cosy. It's like to be more rotated for couples or for sort of very small families. This is the hook track system located here. You can just see that. So that's what you've got to use to basically then clip additional accessories onto it. And we've got suspended here the light, which again works quite nicely to create a little sort of area. Toggle up curtains located on the bottom, and you've got windows all for the side. So it's not like you've got a blank panel anyway. You've got great visibility continuously on the campsite. Cable entry point located down here as well. That's your main hookup. Little Velcro tabs allow you to sort of run the cable, and you can sort of feed it directly up to the point there. But you can really sort of make it kind of a home away from home, even with little sort of lights just sort of strung along the bedroom sort of toggle points. Works quite nicely. And again, that quick and quiet door. Mesh pockets down the bottom at either side. And then we've got a little cable entry point just at the bottom there next to that Outwell logo. But the other thing as well, which is quite nice about this range, is you've got internal pockets in the bedroom section, so you can put things like keys and phones and books inside the main bedroom. And there's a really lovely big vent, if you reach over, out the back, so you can have great sort of ventilation points. Still got a hanging point in here for a lantern and little tabs as well, so the cable. So there is a lot of detail put into the tent itself. So it's not like you're losing any of that kind of Outwell DNA. It's just a case of you can opt for something like that, and we potentially will be looking at doing some kind of offers with kind of bundle deals and footprints. So here you go, that gives you an idea about the ventilation point at the back. So you can have the ability to zip it up, have that airflow, so perfect for kind of the rainy days. You can also stay out like that, so if it is chucking down a rain, you can still maintain the ventilation point without having to worry about using it, and certainly condensation being the issue it is now. That does make quite a bit of a difference. You see how well it actually sits kind of here in the showroom, and little webbing points down the bottom. Again, make it easy to pitch. So the joys of, because it's sort of connected to the main body of it, what you find is that by pegging the one point, you're pegging both the Sony ground sheet and the main body of the tent. So that works really quite nicely as well. overall, I think it's got a lot of potential really with the model, and I really quite like it. I think for me, when you look at kind of the price point, I certainly see probably the 3PA being probably a bit better than the 5PA in terms of what you get for money versus value. And I think I like the concept of something small, perfect sort of couples. It's still got a lot of features in it, and it still retains that kind of air side of things. So if you look, for example, like it's a little bit bigger than say a Bream because there's more going on, there's more features, you've got a bit more of a canopy. It's quite nice in that sort of sense. Same with kind of like the Van Gogh Harris. So you've got different things you can kind of compare it to, and then from a feature level point, it sits above it. And generally with Outwell, you also get like a 2-year warranty on the workmanship as well. So something again, it's extra that probably when you take it to comparison to other models, it stacks up a bit higher in comparison to. But for more information, by all means check the link below this video. We've got all the information located there. Takes you through to a website. We've got all the latest pricing, offers, and all the specifications. So the thing which is also quite nice is that the pack size is quite small in comparison to it. So, and the weight of the product is not, neither of them are above 20 kilograms. So if pack size and space is an issue, that's where something like this is perfect. Sort of weekend tent, really. And with the ability to also add the tarp onto it, you can elongate your kind of sort of sheltered area from the weather, which is no doubt, depending on the UK, it will be a bit touch and go. It is a model we're looking to try and display at our showroom. So if you wanted to kind of see it in the flesh, which I would always advocate, it's always worth coming down, popping, and sort of seeing all these details for yourself. But all in all, that's kind of our little Attwoolls video review on the brand new Outwell Sunhill in the 3 Air, and then obviously the 5 Air as well.